Cooking with stainless steel can sometimes feel like you're fighting for your life, and somehow you're losing, but it doesn't have to be that way. The one-handed scooch. Non-stick is great until you've overheated or scratched it and now you've seasoned your food with Teflon and chemicals. Cast iron is also great until you forget it in the sink overnight and all of a sudden it's turned to a bucket of rust. But right in the middle of those two is the perfect balance, stainless steel. And once you understand how it works, nothing sticks. But we're going to need to work up to that, so we're starting off with something a lot easier, a steak. Now, steak is a great place to start when you're learning how to cook on stainless steel. It is incredibly forgiving. Aside from overcooking it, which is a whole different battle, you really have to try to mess this up. Now, the first thing we want to do to prep our steak is to go ahead and just pat the whole thing dry. One of the reasons that food sticks to stainless steel pans is because there's too much moisture. Moisture prevents a good sear layer from building between the the meat in this case, and the pan, which then ends up with sticking. Most of the time when I see people making a mistake with stainless steel is their food is not dry enough. Now, once it's dry, we're gonna go ahead and hit it with just a nice layer of salt all around. We have a fairly thick steak here. It's about 2 inches thick, so I'm gonna be pretty generous all around. You can of course season it however you like, but I will say that if you season it with things like pepper or herbs and some spices beforehand, you run the risk of burning those spices while you're cooking your steak. Now, if you wanna be really extra about this, then after you've salted your steak, you can place it back in your fridge for a few hours. This will give the salt time to penetrate down into the steak, and if you let it sit long enough in the fridge, it'll also help to dry out the outside of your steak. But for me today, we're just salting and getting right to it. And now for the important part, our pan. We are gonna be using the 10-inch stainless clad fry pan from today's sponsor, Made In. Now, you've all heard me talk about Made In cookware. I've been using their pans for literally years, long before they were kind enough to sponsor me. They design professional quality products that are used in not only over 2,000 top-rated restaurants around the world, but by over 1.4 million home cooks. That's trust from real professionals and arguably more importantly, regular people like you and me. Their stainless steel pans are made using a clad design, which basically just means instead of using one piece of metal, they use 5 layers and smush them all together. This is really important because when it comes to cooking on stainless steel, heat control is one of the most important things. With the 5-layer design, these pans have a more even heat distribution, a better heat retention, resulting in a better overall heat control. Crafted in the USA and in Italy, these pans are completely coating-free and made with non-reactive metals. That ensures that absolutely 0 metals or chemicals ever leach into your food. I've loved this company for a long time and truly believe in their products. So if you're interested, check out the stainless steel collection and Made In's other cookware by clicking the link in the description to save on your order. Now, like I said, one of the other most important things when cooking on stainless steel is your heat control. And that doesn't mean you need a gas stove, an electric stove, or an induction stove, or anything fancy. You just need patience. We're gonna start by bringing our pan up to about medium-high heat. The important thing we do here is that we let this adequately preheat. If our pan isn't hot enough, then when we put our steak in, it's gonna end up sticking. You have to remember that this steak that we're putting in is cold. And so when you put it into your hot pan, it's not only going to raise the temperature of your steak, but it's also going to decrease the temperature of your pan. Now, one way you can tell if your pan is not hot enough is by using a little bit of water. If you splash in a tablespoon of water into your pan, and it fizzes up like that, your pan isn't hot enough. But if you give your pan time to adequately preheat, say like 5-10 minutes, then when you pour your water in, your water turns into these little beads that just kind of glide around your pan. Now, there's a scientific explanation, but I'm not a scientist, so I'm just gonna give you the shortened down version that I understand, which is that the surface temperature of the pan far exceeds that boiling temperature of the water. And so instead of it just boiling and evaporating, it actually creates like a vapor chamber thing around the ball of water, and it just prevents it from sizzling immediately, and it protects it, makes a nice little ball, and it glides. Science. The important thing to know is that our pan is now hot enough. Now we can go ahead and add in a couple tablespoons of a neutral oil. This is just gonna help us get a nice thin surface in between our produce. Why do I keep saying produce? In between our meat and our pan. Make sure that goes all the way around. And then while that oil is preheating, we're gonna go ahead and pat our steak dry one more time. We wanna make sure this is as dry as possible. The more dry, the more sear. Well, the better sear. Now, once our oil is nice and shimmering with just a tinge of smoke, I'm gonna go ahead and start with our fat side, that little fat cap on the side, straight down. That oil is starting to splatter and hurt. I'm gonna grab tongs. Now, after about a minute on that side, we can see we've got a nice sear going, and we can go ahead and lay it flat on one side, and we're gonna let that sit and cook for 3 minutes untouched. We're not gonna touch it, just let it sit. Great time to hit the subscribe button. Maybe leave a like, a comment, only if you're enjoying the video though. And now that our 3 minutes has passed, you can see our steak has no issue sticking. It just slides around nice and easily. We're gonna go ahead and slide under it and carefully flip it over. Oh yeah, look at that sear. Come on, that's pretty good. Now we have a couple little spots here that didn't quite get contact, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw a weight on this side to help apply a little bit of force to try to hold that steak and make as much contact as possible for these 3 minutes. And then after that 3 minutes, we can go ahead and remove our weight here, and we'll flip it again. Ooh. Reveal a beautiful crust. Now at this point, I'm actually going to turn our heat down to medium. I'm gonna scoot our steak right up to that front portion of our pan. And then because this is a fairly large steak, I'm gonna add in about 3/4 of a stick of unsalted butter. And as that butter melts, we'll just baste that first side. And it's really important that you turn that heat down, because if not, you're gonna end up burning your butter. Now, depending on how thick your steak is and how well you like it cooked, it's gonna determine how long you're basting for. I'm aiming for a medium rare, so I'm gonna shoot for probably about 2 minutes on this first side, and then I'll baste for another 2 minutes on the second side. Doesn't hurt to temperature check your steak. We've got a little bit of ways to go. Now we've been basting for 2 minutes on this first side. We'll go ahead and flip and continue basting for another 2 minutes on the second side. Now my steak has reached an internal of about 130, which is a little higher than I would have liked it, but I wasn't paying attention and just was off of my own world basting away. But it's still gonna be delicious. We'll go ahead and pour over all that butter and let it just kind of chill and relax in all that flavory goodness. Now our steak has been resting for about 10 minutes now. The general rule of thumb is about 5 minutes per inch, and we had about a 2-inch steak, so 10 minutes is good enough. So now we can go ahead and slice into this guy. As I feared, oh no, I overcooked it just a tad. It's a little bit more done than I would have preferred it to be, but it's okay, still gonna be delicious. And the most important thing is it didn't stick to our pan. Still delicious. Now next up, we're gonna be cooking something that is a little bit trickier, fish. More specifically, skin-on halibut. Now halibut is a meatier fish with a stronger structure than some more, say, delicate, fleshy fish, but nonetheless is fish and still can be pretty difficult to cook. Now we're gonna give this the same treatment we give our steak. We're patting the whole thing dry, making sure to get all of the sides, paying close attention to the skin side, because that is gonna be the first thing that hits our pan, and we wanna make sure that we're starting off strong with no stick. Now from here, we're gonna go ahead and hit it with a nice pinch of salt on both sides. Again, feel free to season this however you like. I've got lots of videos on things like that, so if you're interested, you can check them out after this. Now again, we have our 10-inch stainless steel skillet that we're gonna preheat to medium-high heat. Now we don't want this nearly as high as our steak was. We're still doing medium-high, but it's definitely closer to the bottom end of that. Now we've been preheating for about 10 minutes. We can hit it with the Leidenfrost tip. Nope. Give me another minute. 1 minute later. There we go, nicely preheated. Now we'll add in a thin layer of neutral oil, making sure that's nice and spread evenly all around. Then we're gonna just pat our fish dry one more time, and then we'll lay it skin side down in our pan. We're gonna hold it because that skin is gonna wanna curl up. So we're gonna add some pressure here, hold it nice and tight, or we can use the press if you don't like hot oil splicking at your hand. Splicking, I like that, splicking. And we're just gonna let this sit, sear, and cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now after about 2 minutes, we can go ahead and remove our press here. And as you can see on the side, our fish is cooked about halfway up. And all that means is our fish is about halfway done. So now we can carefully, using a fish spatula, slide right under our fish. As you can see, little to no stickage. And we'll carefully flip and place. Now from here, I'm actually going to turn my heat off entirely, and I'm just gonna let this finish cooking for about another 2 minutes. You can see on the skin here that we didn't really have any sticking. It was where our flesh kind of overlapped to the sides, where we saw a little bit of stickage, but nothing that a quick little spatula shove doesn't take care of. And then after a couple of minutes, I can see our fish has fully cooked up the sides, so we'll just go ahead and remove it, place it onto our plate, pan, tray, thing, and as you can see, there's little to no stickage. Again, there's a small amount around the edge from our flesh, but I'm very happy with that, and I'm sure you would be too. And now as you can see, we're left with a nice, buttery, juicy, perfectly cooked piece of fish with crispy skin and, oop, it fell apart, a little bit of crispy flesh. It's a win-win. And now for our final recipe, we're making scrambled eggs. Now the important thing here is that you believe in yourself, because quite honestly, the biggest mistake I see people make when they're trying to do scrambled eggs in a stainless steel pan is they panic and then it becomes a mess. So don't panic, it's gonna be okay. You've made it this far and cooked all the other things, so this will be no problem. A pinch of salt in with our 3 eggs, and then we'll just whisk them all together. I feel like this part is pretty inherent and like everybody makes scrambled eggs, but just felt like I should go over it in case you don't. Now while we wait for our pan to preheat, we're gonna go over the steps it's gonna take to cook our egg, because eggs cook fast and we don't really have the time to go over them while it's happening. So step 1 is our temperature. We wanna make sure we're getting to that Leidenfrost, I'm pretty sure. That Leidenfrost temperature, that's step 1. Step 2 is we're gonna add a layer of oil, and then a layer of butter. Our oil is gonna help protect our butter from burning. Step 3, we're actually going to drop our temperature down to a medium-low. We do not want it to be high when we add our eggs into our pan because it will overcook or burn our eggs. Step 4, we add our eggs, pour them on in. And finally, step 5, we keep it moving. Our eggs are going to cook very quickly. We wanna make sure we're moving them around the pan so that way all the raw egg moves to the bottom and all the cooked egg kinda gives way for it. Step 1, we are lightening or frosting. I like frosting. Frosting sounds good. We're gonna remove that water. Guess that's technically a step, but I didn't include it. Now we're gonna add a thin layer of oil. Spread that around. Definitely wanna make sure we hit the sides for this because our eggs are gonna go to the sides. Now we're gonna add in about a tablespoon of unsalted butter. Get that nice and melted. Step 3, we drop our heat down to medium-low. And here we go. This is where it gets fast. Step 4, we add in our eggs. Make sure we scrape it all out because eggs are not cheap. And step 5, we keep it moving. Remember, eggs cook quick, so we just want to use a silicone spatula to keep them moving nice and swiftly around our pan. And as you can see, we've got no stickage, none whatsoever. It is very doable. Everybody can do it. It just takes a little bit of knowledge, finesse, and you got to trust yourself. It's a quick process. That's all you got to do. Just trust yourself, because now we have beautifully cooked scrambled eggs off of our stainless steel pan. And wait, no cuts, so you can see it. I'm grabbing a paper towel. I don't want you to think I'm faking. Paper towel. Easily wiped clean. It is seriously so easy to cook in stainless steel once you learn the few tips and tricks. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I really hope that you learned something. Here's some videos I think you'd like to watch next. Here's a photo of me enjoying a hammock after I conquered my fear of being out in the middle of the open ocean. And I'll see you next week.